not summon for Tribbie, guys. She only gives you 2 buffs. This has to be the worst sustained.
Whoa, you two.
What?
You better stop it and pump the brakes right there, buddy.
Oh, she does.
You don't know what you're talking about.
Wait, she does
attack. Know that she
also
attacks as well. She also works in
I'm sorry, Yo-Yo. I'm sorry, yeah. Okay.
When
This just in, guys. I'm a dumbass. She does more than that. So we're gonna talk about the reasons on why you maybe shouldn't or should summon on Miss Tribbie today. Going over a couple of things from more of a sub DPS team dynamic, real buffs that they provide. We're going to be going over everything today, guys, like comparing buffs to other characters and even doing like a damage comparison with Tribbie on the team versus these other two as well, and then talk about the future proofing as well, because I think that's where her real value lies, is setting you up for the future the same way that both Robin and Ruan May did when they got released. So stick around for today's video, guys, on whether you should or should not be summoning on Tribbie. Alright, so first things first, guys, is she is more of a sub DPS, and what do I mean by this, right? We can quickly glance over this right here real quick. The buffs that she provides to your team is damage, vulnerability, and red spin. These are the only 2 buffs that she provides for your team in terms of getting damage out, and we can even take a look here at what her kit does, right? This is why I say she's more of a sub DPS, because as you can see from her ultimate hits every single enemy on the field based off of her own max HP, so she's dealing damage based off of her max HP, so that means you're building your HP, dealing massive amount of damage. And on top of this, guys, as Mr. John Hoyoverse back there mentioned, we will also be getting damage instances for quantum damage for every single target you hit with your allies. So like I said, or like he said, I guess you should say, is she works in the way that Robin would work when she's in her concerto state. She's hitting enemies or doing damage on enemies with that as well. But not only that, guys, whenever your allies launch an ultimate move off, she'll be launching her own follow-up attack off on every single enemy in the field. This means she's hitting every single enemy first of all, and on top of this, it's considered a follow-up attack, so you can get any follow-up buffs applied to this, and that just means you want to be building her to do as much damage as possible, because her whole main shtick, guys, is literally providing you with some of these in-game level multipliers for your team that really a lot of other characters don't provide to you, and on top of that, providing sub DPS levels of damage. You can take a look at some of her side effects as well, right? Every time you use a follow-up attack, you can increase her damage up to 3 times by 72%. That's absolutely massive. And then also you're giving her some max HP as well, which ultimately affects her damage. So I mean, like, all of this stuff really affects her damage. So that's one of the main reasons I want to bring up, that she's more of a sub DPS, because she only provides you with 2 buffs. Everything else is literally DPS, right? Like her own DPS that she's doing. So that means that she just doesn't play the, I guess, canonical role you would normally see a support character doing, right? And from outside looking in, it kind of looks ass, and honestly, looking at the numbers the buffs gives to her, it kind of looks ass. But trust me, guys, I think she's setting you up for the future, which we'll touch on at the end of the video, so make sure you watch to the end of the video so you can hear me talk about that. But team dynamic is another big thing she plays into, guys. My honest opinion, guys, there's only 2 types of buffers in the game. We have very single target hyper carry buffers, and then we have dual DPS team-wide buffers. That category would go to like Robin, Ruan May, Harmony MC, Tribbie is in that category as well, whereas your more hyper carriers is Sparkle, Sunday, Branya, Hanya, characters like that provide a buff to one certain character and provide a lot of buffs to that one character only, where these provide buffs to the rest of the team. She falls more in that alternate category, right? So she's falling in the category with Ruan May and Robin, so that's where the real comparisons, in my opinion, should be drawn at. So she's going to be mainly ran in dual DPS teams. Now, that's not to say she can't be ran in a hyper carry team. I still think that she can be ran in a hyper carry team, and the reason why I think that is because she doesn't provide a lot of the same buffs. Like, if you're looking at a character like, let's just do Sunday per se, right? Sunday, what he provides to your memo sprites and stuff like that, he provides you damage dealt. He also provides you crit damage as well, and he's also going to be providing things like crit rate. So a lot of these like damaging things that would apply towards the beginning of a damage formula here. So you're getting damage here, you're getting damage here. So now she's coming in and supporting this and this for the damage you're doing on the enemy, thus opening up more and higher multiplier values, so you can take use of that even more. We'll touch more on that at the end of the video, though, because that really does play into our future proof ability. So I do think she can be ran in both teams, though I do think she more so lies in a dual DPS team. With this, I kind of want to touch on what teams that she kind of works well with. I think she works well with the Fei Xiao team. I think she's going to be working well with the Thirda team as well, and I think she's going to be working well with the Categorize team as well. I think that's guys, I'm bad at names. Catarice. I'm calling her Catarice. I think she works well on that team as well. So 3 of these teams I think she works well on. And what do you notice about these 3 characters here? They're all top meta units, guys. These are the characters at the creme de la creme. These characters will, or if not already, are at the top of the tier list. Like, these are already some of the best characters in the game. She can also work in break teams as well, just because the buffs she can provide to your team does affect break damage as well. So that is also something to note, that she'll work there as well. So she can work with some of the best DPS that we currently have in the game right now. That leads us into our next category here, which is this right here. The real buffs they provide, guys, is damage vulnerability by 30% and res pin by 24%. Now, these are the only 2 things they provide outside their sub DPS level of damage. I'm not going to be going into any extras they give. I'm going by the books, the actual numbers that these characters give you, and I want to compare her to the other 2 AoE, or I guess you could say dual DPS supports in the game right now, that being Robin, which is, I would say, the best one, and then Ruan, which I would say is the second best one here. So, if you just look at the sheer number, I mean number of stats that they give compared to what Tribbie gives, it's absolutely undeniably insane. I'm gonna say this a lot throughout this video, guys. On paper, it looks like a complete wash for what they're able to do over her. Now, keep in mind, they're not able to provide the damage that Tribbie's able to provide. I think Tribbie provides a significant amount of damage for the team if you have her built correctly. But if we're talking about the role that she plays, which is a support role, she is not matching up to what the fuck these guys do, right? You're thinking she provides all of these buffs right here and an action advance for the whole team. She provides all of these buffs right here, and I guess this is really a sub DPS, like, okay, really nothing much outside of that, but she provides all of these buffs right here, right? And Tribbie does this, and then sub DPS damage. What's so good about that, am I right? My first impression of her when I first looked at her, guys, was this bitch is dog shit. Like, I'm talking dog ass dog shit. Like, she's gonna eat the fucking floor with how fucking shit she's about to be, bro. She only gives you 24% res pin, which you can get that through E1 of Robin, or even just activating an ult here on top of this 68% damage increase that you're getting here. Okay, 30% damage vulnerability. Yeah, okay, that's fucking cool. But 68% damage percentage with extra break effect, with extra break efficiency, there is no way that this bitch, in terms of a pure like support damage output for the rest of your team, she's not providing more than what she provides. Okay, like, that's just to be said. And I think this does signify the point of, like, the older character, the old guard, right? If you look at a lot of the buffs that they're providing to you, right, they're providing damage, attack, crit damage, follow up, and then res pin with that, right? So you're looking at the damage formula here, right? Robin is providing damage here, providing damage here, providing damage here, and then at E1, she's providing damage here as well. Whereas Ruan, on the other hand, is providing damage here. I guess you would say they're kind of, like, providing some damage here as well. Like, a break effect, break efficiency kind of plays into it. It's a whole different thing here. It's providing you speed, but then it's also giving you res pin as well. So it's providing these 2 things here. Well, if we look at Tribbie, if we're going down the damage formula, guys, she's providing this and she's providing this. So she's providing buffs later on down the damage formula. This is setting up for when characters give themselves more of this in the future. So you're not having to give them much more of this. You're setting them up with bigger numbers of this and this with sub DPS damage. That's where I think her true value lies at before we hop into this last part here, because it just looks like a complete wash here with what they're able to do than with this. But pause! Wait, stop right there. You might have just gotten scammed. I don't know if you clicked on a timestamp because it's not a build guide where I usually do this, but hit that subscribe button now, gamers. I'm sure you want to know what those damage numbers look like in comparison with Tribbie. But before we get there, you have to hit that subscribe button. Give you 5 seconds. 5. I'm actually not, because that's going to draw out this video way too long. Anyway, subscribe. Back to the video. Alright, guys. So now what I want to touch on is something that you're going to be quite surprised with. And this is going to be a full damage comparison with Fei Xiao. Now, with the testing here, I use Fei Xiao max level A6 with no buffs providing to herself. Literally just using a basic attack. No light cone, no relic, no stats, anything like that. The basic damage they do is no crit, right? So, with that being said, this also is going to be giving a huge buff to what Tribbie's damage looks like in comparison to Robin here. Because I'm not taking crit damage even into account with this damage calculation here, which she provides a lot of crit damage for your team. So with that being said, let's look at the damage we're able to provide with Robin here first. So this basic attack damage goes up to 2800, which is a 120% damage increase. So she's doing around 4x the damage with her basic attack that then she would be getting on her own without any buffs, right? Now let's go on, move to Ruan and see what damage she provides. That's gonna be 1476. This also kind of nerfs Ruan because this doesn't take into account break break effect. It doesn't take into account weakness break efficiency. It doesn't take into account speed you're getting here as well. And the most clear-cut damage you could get here would literally be here because it's debuffing the enemy. It doesn't rely on crit. It doesn't rely on anything. It's literally by the book, the number that you're getting. She is going to be providing you with 1100 damage. Ruan Mace around a 69% damage increase, and then for Tribbie here, it's around a 47% damage increase from base here. So it's like literally less than 2 times the damage with Tribbie being on the team here. Now, what I want to show you now is the damage comparisons with everyone else here. So if we're going to be comparing the damage to Tribbie, Robin literally does 85% more damage for the team, where she provides the team with 85% more damage than what Tribbie can provide. She provides 63% more damage than what Ruan May can provide. Hopping into here, Ruan May provides 25% more damage than what Tribbie can provide to the team, while she is 63% less the damage than what she can provide. And then finally, we have Tribbie here, which is less in both fields. Now, you would say, Jesus Christ, Tribbie is absolute god-awful dog shit, bro. She is not comparing at all. Maybe she compares somewhat to Ruan May, right? But that's not even taking into account the weakness break efficiency, anything like that. She is a dog shit buffer. Holy shit. This leads us now into the final point of the video. Yes, guys, her numbers look absolutely atrocious, but I guarantee you, when we get future units coming out into the game, I'm talking down the line, and you'll even start to see this with some of the units we've already gotten, like the Herda. Any character that provides themselves with any of these damage multipliers here, right? They give themselves a lot, like the Herda, which gives themselves a crit damage buff, which gives themselves damage multiplying buffs, right? Huge amounts of it. Really? Your damage is actually going to skyrocket much more with having her on the team, because you're hitting these multipliers here. You start getting diminishing returns whenever you start buffing these numbers up even more so when they're already pretty high to begin with characters like Robin, with characters like Ruan May. I'm not saying that they're ass by any means. I still think that the cream of the crop, even in the future, is probably going to be Robin for a while. But I think the buffs that she's able to provide for the team will help out the future units down the line, and that's the future-proof ability aspect we're talking about now, right? In the future, she's bringing a lot more of your DPS. On top of this, right, she's doing follow-up attacks, she's doing additional damage as well. So if we get a character in the future that's providing you more damage with the additional damage you're doing, hell, you could even pair her up with someone like Remembrance MC, give her the true damage multiplier, so whenever you're hitting attacks on the enemy, you're getting true damage for every single one of those attacks, and then you're getting true damage with every single follow-up attack they're doing as well. So you kind of play with that too. Then on top of that, guys, you're playing with face down in a way because you're hitting the enemy with follow-up attacks, which ultimately build up the amount of damage you're dealing with your face shao, which ultimately gives you more ult charge for your face shao. You're able to use basic attacks with her, so it's SP efficiency. She is going to be buffing teams in a way that's kind of unseen, just because she does a lot of different things. Like, she is very spread out in what she can do, and she does a decent amount of damage with it. So that brings us to the final point in the video, why you clicked on the video. Should you be summoning for Tribbie? Is she absolute garbage? Is she great, amazing? I think if you have older characters in the game right now, she's not going to look that good to you. I think if you have some of the newer characters and you plan on pulling for this new future meta, I think she's going to get better and better as the more patches and the more characters we get in the future. I do think that she is going to be a very good pull for your account, and just like Robin did, just like Ruan May did, I think this is the support that is going to set you up for the future. I think she sets you up even better than what Sunday sets you up for. Anyways, all in all, guys, I think she is a pretty good summon for your account. I don't think she's a must summon for by any means, but I do think she'll help your account out greatly, especially with future patches and future DPS that come out. Anyways, that's going to do it for me for today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, please drop a subscribe on the video. I would much appreciate that. And yeah, guys, we're trying to hit 10K by the end of the year, so we're at this subscriber mark right here where I'm editing this video. So please, please, please help us get to that marker. I would really, really appreciate it. And that's going to do it for me, guys. Are you pulling for Tribbie or are you not? Let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think I'm copium or not? You'll probably see some copers in the comment section down below because I fucking fished them up with that intro. Anyways, see you guys later. Bye-bye.